Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with a quick little knife video for you. I think it's going to be quick anyway. We shall see. This is a response to Blade Center's cool little open tag video he had about knife sounds. I'm kind of surprised that I didn't think to do that earlier, but I didn't, so good for him. I'm a very auditory focused kind of guy. I like, and I especially like mechanical sounds. I mean, as I've said multiple times in the bike industry, I like, a good loud, hub, like when you freewheel, like clack, 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 clack. I love that noise. I use a 1938 old Royal typewriter. I love that mechanical sound of that. I'm really into these kinds of sounds. So, I like a watch that ticks loudly, that kind of stuff. I'm into that. So I don't understand why I didn't think to do this earlier, because I'm always going on and on and on about the noises in my knife reviews, to the point that some of you tell me to stop it. But now I have an excuse to do a whole video about it. So thank you very much, Blade Center, for that. Blade Centered for that. Go check out his channel. I will make sure to link to it down below. I'm sure he's going to make a little playlist if other people do this. So let's get to it. He only did 4, I think. I'm doing a bit more than that because I have a hard time making decisions. But I will narrow it down at the end to my top 3 and my absolute favorite knife just to listen to, for lack of a better word. Bump the camera, sorry there. But let's just get started. First one I'm going to pull out, this is the steel wheel cut jack. Specifically, this is the M390 Italian version. It just sounds really, really good. Very authoritative thwack, especially for a liner lock. I just like that. And you're going to see a pretty consistent thing here. A lot of these knives have really good detents. And if you have a really good, strong detent, it makes the sound better because the blade just rockets out faster. Doesn't sound as good on the close. That's why it's just kind of in this sort of honorable mention section, I guess you'd call it, because on the close it sounds kind of hollow. But pretty good sounding knife. Next up we have, what do we do next? We'll do this one. The Kershaw Bareknuckle. Now this is aluminum scales, which usually don't mean good sound. Most aluminum knives sound, to me, kind of hollow, but this is the subframe lock design. So there is a good chunk of steel there on the frame lock, and I think that's what makes the difference. And again, a good solid detent, and runs on bearings, so just rockets right out. Let me put that up closer to the mic. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. Also sounds good on the close, which I'm really surprised since it's aluminum. But yeah, I like it when the detent sucks it in there at the end. That always makes a good sound. Bareknuckle, pretty good one. These aren't too expensive, like 80 bucks. Oh, by the way, that cut jack I had before, what are those now? Like 130, 140, something like that. Next up, pretty new addition, but one that I really like the sound of. And again, made out of a material that normally doesn't produce good sounds, but this is the North Arm Skaha 2, the carbon fiber one. Normally carbon fiber kind of absorbs sound or makes it sound very hollow, one or the other. This doesn't do either of those. It just sounds good. Really like it. Again, pretty good closing sound also. North Arm Skaha 2, and it's just a great freaking knife and so much fun to play with. Action on it is just fantastic. All 3 of these first ones just have, like I said, really good action, makes for a good sounding knife. Next up would be the Mass Drop Keen, the Braid Laconico design, made by We. It's, again, good detent. And it's just got that rocket bang. Very authoritative and just clean and crisp opening sound. The only thing that makes it not make the top 3 is it doesn't do much for me when it closes. But other than that, very, very good sound. Now, my final 3. One is actually what you would consider a budget knife, but I don't think that any liner lock knives sound better than an Ontario Rat, especially the Model 1s, the bigger ones. That is it's noticeably louder than any of the others I just had on here. Oh, it sounds good. Doesn't make much noise at all in the close, because it's not really a drop shutty kind of knife, but just that's a bang there from just a liner lock, like a $40 liner lock, and it just sounds so good. I forget about it sometimes, and I'll bring this out for size comparisons, because I honestly, be honest, I don't carry this a whole lot, but when I bring it out for size comparisons and stuff and I open it up, it's like a bang, and it's just like, wow, I forgot how awesome that thing sounds. Next up, this is a very new addition, but I really like the sound of it. This is the Cold Steel 8015. One of the reasons I like the sound of it so much is this is kind of one of those knives that's like I described it once in a video as the sound, like, it's the knife version of like racking a shotgun. You know, when you take this thing out, if, God forbid, you're in some kind of, you know, self-defense situation, just the noise this thing makes, it's probably going to make somebody think twice. It's just such a bang. That is just, it's when you use the thumb studs. Now, if you use the Scorpion lock, still makes a pretty good bang, but not nearly as much when you use those thumb studs. If you ever want to intimidate somebody, that's an intimidating noise. That just sounds like something's ready to go. And this thing is definitely very much ready to go. Very strong lock, big beefy knife. It makes a great noise. Really love that. Amongst other things about the knife. But definitely my favorite, my absolute definite favorite, has to be the Zero Tolerance 0562 tie. This thing just sounds fantastic. Hinderer design. This is the new for 2019, the titanium version. I've heard the carbon ones sound almost as good, but I have not experienced one, so I'm not sure. But listen to this. Oh, it's not only loud, it's also just sounds tough, sounds well put together. It's one of those that you can actually like hear the quality, sort of. That makes sense. And the closing sound, also fantastic. Good solid snap in. I like it. And sometimes, since it's so milled out, sometimes the plate, depending on where your fingers are placed, it will make a little kind of, when you close it, yeah, there it went. It makes a little kind of musical thing too. So love, 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 love the sound of this. Great knife on top of it, so that helps. But yeah, it's a very fidgety knife, and one of the reasons why for me is the noise. And I think a lot of it is because, you know, the stops hitting the scales. Great sounding knife. So this would be my number one by far, the 0562 tie. Awesome sounding knife. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Didn't find it a complete waste of time. I definitely enjoyed watching Blade Center's video about it. So hope other people do it. That's it. Have a good one. See you later.